I had a bunch of little lap sitters. I was reading them children's picture storybooks, and I thought, these stories have all of the components of great stories written at every grade level. That is, all stories share common things.
And it's so funny, you keep saying this word pedagogy.
Yeah.
And I had Dr. Perrin on several years ago, and he talked about pedagogy. And I was like, what is this pedagogy word? I don't even know what you're talking about. And so you've mentioned it a few times. I'm going to let you explain a little bit more what that is. But I want to talk in these last few minutes on this episode about teaching our kids to learn, because of course that's where you're going with this whole how to teach multiple kids at one time, is not feeding them all the facts and feeling like we need to teach them every single individual fact about every single subject.
Yeah, I mean, what about the gaps, right? Have you ever heard mom say that?
Exactly.
Have you ever said that?
Yes, exactly. It's teaching them how to learn well, how to think well, how to read well. So how do we do that practically with our kids?
Well, you teach them patterns and pedagogy instead of, in literature, which is my field, instead of saying, okay, I'm going to teach them the books. That is,
Right.
I'm going to teach them the Scarlet Letter or the Bronze Bow or Charlotte's Web or whatever it is at their various levels in reading and growing. And then requiring a teacher guide or a study guide for every single story that you want to teach them. Instead, you teach them how to read any story. The pedagogy is the approach, the methodology by which you will teach your students. If education is not purely cramming facts into your child's brain, but instead equipping them to learn, you can look at the various disciplines and see what is necessary in order for them to know how to approach, that is, how to read in every discipline, how to speak the language of history, right? How to think like a historian, how to speak the language of the mathematician and think mathematically, how to think about books and what kinds of questions you need to approach in order to interact with the art of the novel or the story and track with the storyteller to his ultimate conclusions. This is the pedagogy that we're looking for. And that is what our work in the field of literature has been designed to do. I wrote Teaching the Classics for a friend. She was also a homeschool mom, 6 kids. The oldest was a senior in high school, and she was trying to read the classics with him. She came to me one day and said, I don't have time to go back to school. I know you got a degree in English literature. Can you help me? I can't get past Did You Like It with my son. And these are the classics of Western civilization. I should be getting more out of it than this, right? And, I'm sitting at home thinking, how can I give her the benefit of my college degree without sending her back to college herself?
Right.
And it was out of this question that the idea for Teaching the Classics was born. I had a bunch of little lap sitters. I was reading them children's picture storybooks, and I thought, these stories have all of the components of great stories written at every grade level. That is, all stories share common things: setting, character, plot, conflict, theme, right? The conflict at the bottom of the story, propelling the story to some sort of destination, right? There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. There's a climactic moment, a turning point in the story that satisfies whatever the quest or the question that the protagonist asks within the story. And if we can chart that question, that conflict with the author, we can uncover the big ideas at the heart of his story. It just requires that we know the kinds of questions that we should ask in order to engage that author and understand the structure of all story, because all stories share a structure. So if we know the structure and we have a pedagogy, that is, if we know the pattern of story and we have a pedagogy or a series of questions to ask in approaching story, we can lead our kids into a habit of mind. They can develop a habit of mind that they will take with them into the thoughtful analysis of any story they might want to read, whether that story comes to them in a picture storybook or in a novel or in a movie, or even the stories that they come to when they open the scriptures. Understanding the way story is written is the key to unlocking the stories themselves and engaging in the great conversation, which is really what stories are all about.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.